No, we don't have any decaf.
Okay, then have a regular latte.
Regular latte, yes.